History teaches us that wars rarely begin with a bang. They begin with decisions, alliances, and miscalculations. In the modern Middle East, a single spark ignites a fire that pulls the world toward the unthinkable. This is a speculative look at what might happen. If World War III begins, how would the first 7 days unfold? Let's dive into one of the craziest imagination that can happen. Tehran is rocked by a direct Israeli airstrike targeting a suspected nuclear facility. Iran retaliates immediately with missile strikes on Israeli air bases and economic zones. In response, Israel enacts full mobilization. Hezbollah and Houthis join in from the north and south. The skies over the Middle East become a theater of iron and fire. The world watches in horror. But for superpowers, it's more than horror. It's a signal. The U.S. declares full support for Israel. Warships are redeployed to the Persian Gulf. Russia denounces U.S. involvement and begins supplying Iran with advanced weapons under the guise of defense. China calls for de-escalation publicly, but quietly moves naval assets near Taiwan. Sensing an opportunity while the West is distracted, NATO countries are forced into emergency meetings. Iran mines the Strait of Hormuz, cutting off 1/3 of the world's oil supply. Global oil prices surge past $180 a barrel overnight. Panic begins in stock markets. Saudi Arabia and UAE try to compensate with increased production, but are threatened by missile attacks. The global economy jolts. Flights are grounded. Nations begin to choose sides, some out of ideology, others out of necessity. A massive cyberattack shuts down power grids in several European cities. Hospitals in the US are hit by ransomware. Anonymous hacker groups claim responsibility, but intelligence suggests Russian and Iranian coordination. Digital war becomes as dangerous as physical bombs. Panic buying returns. Shelves empty. Nations begin activating emergency response protocols, not just for military operations, but for civilian defense. China uses the chaos to increase military drills near Taiwan. A Taiwanese defense vessel is accidentally fired upon. Japan and South Korea raise military readiness to DEFCON 3. The U.S. is now staring down to simultaneous flashpoints Middle East and East Asia. Australia and the Philippines begin internal discussions on conscription and territorial defense. A devastating Israeli missile flattens a Revolutionary Guard command center in Tehran. Civilian casualties climb. Iran launches long-range drones into Tel Aviv. The death toll rises. Back channels between Turkey, France, and the Vatican open attempting peace talks. But the machinery of war is already grinding forward. Millions begin fleeing from hotspots. Refugee crises emerge in Jordan, Lebanon, and Turkey. A U.S. base in Iraq is bombed. American casualties are confirmed. Congress grants wartime powers to the president. NATO invokes Article 5, but some countries hesitate. India and Pakistan, already tense, begin escalating over border skirmishes. The UN calls for ceasefire. The Security Council is deadlocked. The question is no longer if the war spreads, it's how far and how fast. This isn't prophecy. This is a scenario. This chain reaction began. Would we be ready? How would your country respond? And more importantly, how would you? Let us know in the comments. And remember, wars don't just destroy borders, they destroy generations.